Hi everyone, it's Braylon and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I'm a special ed teacher. I teach right now a classroom with grades 1 through 4, self-contained. My students are doing little bits of inclusion and I definitely try to include that in my vlogs, but yeah, I'm excited. It's actually a 4-day week this week because yesterday was Labor Day and last week I took off the Friday because I was going away to Maine for the long weekend, and so I haven't been here and it feels like I haven't been here in a long time, and there's a lot of stuff that I didn't get to at the end of last week before I left, and so I'm here this morning trying to prep. I just need to print some things, just rearrange the centers that I normally have set up for the week and make sure I have my books ready and my anchor chart and little stuff. So I'm actually not even going to film because I know I'm going to run out of time because I'm going to want the perfect angle. But I just gotta get to it. So it's gonna be like a pretty normal week, but after school I'll make sure and show you all just kind of the plans for the week and how I'm differentiating it based on grade and adapting things, the usual stuff. But yeah, I only have like 30 minutes left and I have a lot of things to do, so gotta go. Real quick, actually, proud of myself, I made coffee today. I did not buy coffee. Sorry, I'm leaning. That's a big step for me. So step number 1, but I have to go. I will see you all after school. All right. Hello. It's after school. There were like a lot of bus issues, and so it just took forever for kids to leave. So I'm kind of drained and I have to run home because I'm recording a podcast in like an hour with a really cool person, and so I need to make sure I'm home in time to get myself ready for the podcast. But I do want to kind of go through some of the plans and some of the things that I had for today, and then maybe tomorrow morning I can show you more of the centers. We're out of time, so I didn't get through much. Like I had said earlier, I was gone for like a long weekend, and so I was kind of frazzled, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. You just don't always have your stuff together, and I definitely did not have it this week. So I wrote my plans out today, and I kind of want to go through them. So for Read Aloud today, sorry, that says Labor Day. For Read Aloud today, and for the whole week, we are talking about characters, like identifying the characters and identifying the problem and solution. So each day is a different, Each day is a different book, but it's all related to the same thing. There's no rhyme or reason for why I picked the books that I did, other than I knew they would keep my students engaged and they could find some sort of character figure. It's not like I don't know. It's not like I was like, oh, this fits with this theme. I'm more focused on them understanding the concept and finding a book that's interesting rather than trying to like make it work a different way. Okay, so character. For math, we are doing coins and bills, and we've been doing coins. We did coins in June, and I restarted them last week, and we were kind of catching on, so I'm hoping that coins will go quickly, and then bills will take us a little bit more time. But in math, with the bills, we're also counting coins and then counting bills because it's all skip counting. So we're doing the money, and we're also focusing on skip counting, counting nickels and $5 bills, counting dimes and $10 bills. So they've mastered counting by tens, and we're in the process of mastering counting by fives. That's a little bit harder. And then I think, obviously ones are fine with them. So that's just kind of the first thing I decided to work on. A lot of them, that is a goal of theirs, but also it comes up in many different grade levels for money, and they use money as examples in word problems. And so I just really wanted money to be really solid at the beginning of the year, and you can work so much into money. So I'm going off on a tangent, but for example, some students, they're not necessarily working on money yet. It's not even in their goals, but it's something that is going to be in their grade level, but they are working on one-to-one correspondence. So then we focus more on the pennies, or we focus more on the dollar bills, and it's okay that they're learning money as they go. I do have a separate time called IEP work time where I will kind of specifically work on those interventions, but yeah, for the most part, it's just working on the skill embedded in the unit that I'm doing. For writing, it's hard to see. For writing, we are working on writing letters and writing our first and last name. So this week, in terms of letter writing, we're working on writing the date. So we write the date fully out, like with words every morning for morning meeting. But when you're writing a letter or an email, sometimes you just write the quicker date. I don't know what it's called when it's just in numerals. Oh my gosh. See, I'm teaching it, but I don't even know the name of it. So I found this for free on Teachers Pay Teachers, where it kind of gives a box. It's hard to see, but it's like the month, the day, and the year. I'm just going to put these in sheet protectors, and we're going to use them each day and write the actual date to practice what it looks like on a letter. I also made like a simple template on Google Slides of just like date and then dear so-and-so, have a great day from Miss Martin's class. So each day we'll practice that template of letter writing, because that's something that's being worked on in first and second grade. And so I'm trying to hit at the skills that they can do, which is like their penmanship and working on the date, and kind of work up to that. The other thing we're working on is writing our last name. So their first names are great. Some of them have kind of their last name, but I just printed mine as an example. Obviously, my last name's Martin, and none of my kids' last name's Martin, but we're just going to practice these each day, and that'll be a majority of our writing time. And then we do our writing centers where they're either tracing on the iPad or they're working on a Terra West writing unit with me, which is like vocabulary words related to either school or school lunch or different things like that. We work on those writing pages. I also found this free on Teachers Pay Teachers. Again, kind of hard to see, but it's like a more of a trace and a fill in the blank. So I think that should be okay. And then there's one more thing. Actually, no, never mind. That's it. And then something else I wanted to share relating to working on characters. Every day after we do the character actual like study, we are practicing this, which is also from Terra West. It's an older product where you read the story and then you have to circle who the characters are. And we're really trying to get characters down because we're working for 2 weeks on characters, and then next week we're starting setting. We're going to start introducing setting. So some of my students can find characters really quickly, some have their devices and they're working on it, and then some it's a little bit harder to get them to recognize that that's a character, but it's really important in the story elements. Another thing we're working on is phonics. There's a few students that are working on phonics. I do a foundations lesson for a few different small groups that I have. Some of them it's like when other kids are having like services. I have a few. There are a few things we're doing. So if you're not used to foundations or just Wilson training in general, you kind of do the full like warm-up drills. And then I printed these. I found these on Teachers Pay Teachers, and I think I'm just going to hang them up here. Because we're almost finished with doing the drills. My students have been catching on pretty quickly. They come with, foundations comes with this like magnet mat. It's too far away. I'll get it a different day. So I'm thinking about making take-home mats. Maybe I'll make it in the next couple days so that they can practice their word work at home if they want to. Maybe I'll make it out of Velcro and not out of magnets. But yeah, you just kind of practice. Another thing with Wilson and foundations is these lines. So like you start on these lines, but then you can go down to like for like a G, for example, and how it swoops down. So we've been working on that. But basically Wilson is like a version of like reading science that you can get trained in. And then foundations is like a curriculum or an intervention system that kind of goes along with the Wilson training. So my school doesn't necessarily use foundations, but some of the special ed people here have bought them, like the foundations whole system in the past. And once I met some of my students, I was like, ooh, that would really help them. So we're digging deep into it, and I'm really grateful we started right at the beginning, because really a lot of it is, I hate to say it, just drilling those sounds and the recognition of it all. And I've already noticed a big difference in the first like 5 or 6 days that they've just started to get them much quicker, and sounding out and doing those drills has just been really, really great. Okay, we're going to keep going in the plans. So for life skills, we are working on the grocery store. I think we're going to make a trip to the grocery store in a little bit, maybe like in a couple weeks. But for now, we're talking about the vocabulary. We read a social story every day of how we're going to get to the grocery store and what the actual grocery store near us looks like. And then we do some sort of sorting or matching or something, which has been really great. And for science, it's been kind of lame. Like we've been working on same and different, and I'm not quite thrilled about it. So we kind of finished same and different today. And I don't really want to do weather again because they're in like older grades. They know the weather. So I haven't the unit I had planned next was like states of matter. I don't know if that's too high for them. I might have to prep that tomorrow morning or just like introduce it tomorrow. I'll keep you updated, but science is getting kind of tricky because they're all kind of at different levels. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it right now. Yeah, that's kind of the big things that we've been working on. I'm really, really tired. Like, I'm not going to get much out of myself today. So I think I'm just going to end it for the night, and I'll come in tomorrow and I'll try to go through my centers and see if I have more energy. But I'm excited to go and film my podcast. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Oh, also, can you hear that? I didn't finish my coffee. Typical. So typical. All right. I'll see you later. All right. Hello. Good morning. It's Wednesday. I just got into the building. So I wanted to show you a few things before the day kind of starts and I prep. I want to show you the centers again really quickly. A lot of them are the same as my vlog of the first day of school. So it's not that exciting, but it's okay. I'll show you anyway. This is something we've been working on for a lot of my students. They've been practicing counting. So yesterday they would just take a card and either use little pieces to put on the 10 frame or actually like make dots or circles or hearts or whatever. This took up a good amount of time, but I have a lot of students that were really trying to kind of not catch up, but gain some of those good skills right at the beginning of the year intentionally. This year we're doing take-home binders, which I'm really excited about. The first tab has all of these daily reports. They're really simple. I found them for free on TPT and they work really well. And then there's a homework tab and I provide a week's worth of homework, and then a reading log, which okay, I want to make this clear. I'm not doing a reading log because I'm grading it. It's that a lot of my students are not really ever read to. And so it's more to like encourage it. And I made that really clear with parents at the beginning of the school year, like before we even came to school, just that like it's sample questions, sample things, resources that I'm providing to them. So hopefully that's kind of how they take it. So a lot of things are staying the same. Ooh, this lighting. Whatever. A lot of things are staying the same, like the writing center. That is not changing at all. Most things we're just going to kind of go with. They still need to practice the vocabulary and work on some of their writing. So that's a big thing. I got this alphabet curriculum from Tara West, which there are parts of it I like and parts of it that just feel like just a lot of printing and like wasted paper. But right now I'm working on each individual letter. So I'm doing this just to kind of introduce the letter. A lot of times the curriculum comes with like a poem, and then you search for the letter, you write it a couple times, you color it in, like that type of stuff, which, oh, sorry about the lighting. Anyway, hope that makes sense. So we're keeping that center the same. And then for math, I think I mentioned this yesterday, we're still working on coins and bills, but there are some things I printed from Superhero Teachers last year that I laminated for like math that I want to show you. All right, sorry about this angle. I have a lot more, but I printed a good chunk of these, and they're basically just from Super Teacher worksheets. They're just like task cards. So this is like a simple one. For example, like all these addition task cards, I'll set students up with a staff member and they'll kind of go through them, solve them however they need to, and write their answers down. So there are things like that, but I have, I think, 20 or 30 of them. That website has so many task cards. It's really helpful. So this is kind of how I differentiate it. So some students are just working on counting like individual coins or identifying coins or identifying values, whereas others, because like I said, I have many grades, are working on counting up money together. So depending on the group, they'll go to different tables. So when we're working on the coins, it's just really cool, like $20 for the whole year, and you can get all these different things. So you can go through and they can count them, and there's a recording sheet. I just made extra copies of the recording sheet, and it comes with an answer key. So it comes with directions and an answer key. Oh, I was smart. I laminated it. The recording sheet. Sweet. There's another one. There's so many, but let me just double check. Oh yeah, this one is bills and coins. And then there's coin puzzles where it's just the value of the coins or value of the bills. What's this one? Oh my gosh, I forgot. See, this is what it is. So you have these different, like this. Let me find the answers. Hold on. They're at the bottom. So these don't go together, but I'm just going to show you anyway. So you have like the coin and then you have to match it to the value. So tons of little things like that. Those have been so helpful and cost me very little money. And I put them just in these envelopes because it was just easier. All right, so yesterday I talked about foundations just briefly and that curriculum, and then I asked about it last night on Instagram, and a lot of people gave me some really good suggestions just because this is my first year using it and I know people use it every year at their school. A lot of people were recommending, and I don't have time to get into what it is, I'll try to find a video about it below, but a lot of people were recommending just the repetition of the letter sounds, and just that's like so important, but then also eventually to fade how you teach letter sounds and just focus on the sound. And so let me show you some things. So there's so much more to it, but this is kind of the stuff I have. So basically it has these letter sound cards right here. And there are individual letters, but I have them back there. I'm not going to go get them. So there's letters, and then there's blends and vowel teams, and you practice them and it comes together. So like you would say th, thumb, th, and or a, apple, a, and you kind of repeat those and go through them. And then I think what I'm going to do, instead of just having them say th, thumb, th, I just want them to see this picture and say th. Right? So after a while, kind of fading the first part of the repetition. And then it comes with like a teacher's manual for level 1. So it goes through like what you should ask each day. There are like sound drills, the scope and sequence, different stories you can hit, different activities, you know, introducing students, the vowel extension posters. So for example, I'm not going to pull it out, but for example, it's like an E, so like how to extend the sound. That's really helpful. And so I was talking, oh, I got stuck. So I was talking to my boss about it yesterday too, and they recommended, it's like, okay, sorry, my friend came in. Okay, so I was talking to my boss, and she told me that actually one of the other schools nearby had like copied a lot of stuff and made Google Slides and had scanned some of the assessment sheets and scanned some of the activities. So I'm super excited to like kind of go through that and see, because if I can make it a little bit more digital, then it can work. So basically, a couple of my first graders, they go to inclusion, and normally with the time that they go is like a phonics time, but it's still a little too high. So I've actually been having them come back during that phonics time, excuse me, and then we've been practicing our sounds. So I'm hoping that it'll work. It comes with the writing pages, all the letters, so many things, so many things. So I'm just hoping that I don't know, that we can get through it. What do I have here? Leveled reader assessment. Oh my gosh, this is from my old school. You would like give these little assessments, and then it would tell you their like lexile level. I haven't used it this year, but I might use it. We'll see. Anywho, that's kind of the start of my foundation stuff. I'm not going to dig too deep into it. Like, I'm not going to follow every piece of it to like a T, but I'm definitely going to incorporate it into a lot of what we do, just because I know that it will help some kids. So, all right, so it's getting closer to the start of the school day. I just have to print a couple more things, just make sure I have enough. It's a half day today because on Wednesdays it's always a half day, which is like one of the greatest gifts I've ever been given. So it's a half day, and then we spend the rest of the day either like in meetings or professional development or like planning time. So I kind of use it as like my case management time to go through everything, and I don't really have any meetings today, which is amazing. So I'm gonna just try to get enough stuff together for this half day. Most of it's prepped, but there are a few little ideas that I had running through my head, and then yeah, we'll get the day started. But I still have to teach, gotta do my full-time job, so I'll get back to you after school. Don't mind my sweater, I'm cold. I'm wearing a regular dress, but I was cold, so I put on a sweater. I made this today for a student who's working not just on like personal space, like they're okay with personal space. It's more like in the hallways and in places they don't have good body awareness. They'll like run into people, not because they want to get close to them, but they're just not aware. They'll run into the wall, they'll trip down the stairs. And so it's more just for that body awareness. So we used a small hula hoop and a big hula hoop and some pool noodles and zip ties. And so then we got these straps that I tied on, and so hopefully they'll be able to walk through the halls, and if they run into stuff, it'll kind of give them some feedback. But I look absolutely ridiculous, but it's okay. All right. Hello everyone, it's after school. Yeah, today was a half day, so it was pretty easy. We did a lot of things. I think I talked about this yesterday, but if not, for the past 2 days we've been reading Strega. So we read it yesterday, which was the first day of school, but it was a Tuesday, and then we read it today on a Wednesday. And my main focus with this is not because it's like thematic, but because I want them to recognize a character and enjoy the story. And if you've never seen on YouTube, there's Storyline Online, which is celebrities reading books like with music and animations, and it's free because it's on YouTube. And this is one of my students' favorite books to listen to on that YouTube channel because it has like a music and an accordion and all that kind of stuff. So we read it and we identified the character, and they were so calm, we decided to read a second one so that they could identify Clifford. Learned that they had never seen the show Clifford, which maybe it's because it's like an older show. But anyway, I put Clifford on. So that was like a big thing that we did. And then, so we've started talking about letters and letter writing, which we're gonna finish up this week. There's a little bit more to do with it, but I'm gonna kind of focus on it, but then take a pause because the first and second grade are in alignment, and next week they are starting argumentative essays. And so for some of my students, not all of them, just some, we started the process of thinking not just a story, but your argument, like what's the topic and like what are the details. And I was really struggling with showing them, and I didn't want to keep making anchor charts to be like, here's your topic sentence and here are your arguments. So I remembered that I had bought these from Target, like the dollar spot, a few years ago, and they're like dry erase. And so there's so many different options. So this was like really visual for them, and they like doing stuff on the rug when they can just kind of lay down and like write stuff. So I actually just put it on the rug, and there was like maybe 2 or 3 students, and we kind of just focused on, okay, what do we like? We like Cheez-Its. That was what we came up with. We like Cheez-Its. And so why do we like Cheez-Its? Because they're cheesy, because they're crunchy, and kind of went through it like that. It's going to be a pretty simple situation, but I'm hoping that it'll start to stick. Other than that, we just did our normal centers, which are like not very exciting. Our literacy centers, our math centers, our rotation today, and it was all kind of basic and boring. I think the best moment of my professional career was me wearing the hula hoop and walking through the hallway trying to see if it would fit through doorways, and having people just be like, I don't know what you're doing, I don't know why you're doing this, but you do you, Braylon. It was physically so embarrassing, but it's okay. So I do want to highlight that one of the coolest things that I feel like has been happening over the past day and a half is my students are starting to like understand transitions. And when I say that, it's also because they can be a little bit older, and I think I'm used to having like kindergarten, first grade where they're just like new to school. The first graders I had last year, and the students that I have besides the first graders have all been in this school for a few years. And so just understanding the timers, they've had me before. One of the things we do to transition between blocks, or just transition from like a whole group lesson to like individual desks or small group, is I'll put like teachers' names above, and then I'll put student pictures below the names. And today was the first day that I saw some students that I didn't really think were paying attention look at their face and go to their table. And so we've just kind of been practicing a lot of those transitions and those routines, and it's been really just, I don't know, it's been really cool to see it kind of work and unfold. So that is like definitely a highlight of the day. All right, there's a little bit of a shadow, but I wanted to show, oops, next one. There's a little bit of a glare, but I want to show you the plans for next week, the 13th and on. I planned today on Thursday. I was a little behind because it was a shorter week. So I kind of planned out all of the lessons or all the books I want to read. We're focusing on character and setting. Then I planned that we're doing skip counting along with using money to buy things. And for center and IEP work, we're going to focus a little bit more on addition. Writing, we're working on our last name. We're starting argument pieces because that's what they're starting in first and second grade. And we're going to practice what a period, an exclamation point, and a question mark is. For phonics, we're still using foundation, so we're on alphabet book. CVC drills is huge, huge, and all these sounds. And I should make a line if it's the whole week. Life skills, we don't have it on Wednesday because it's a half day, but on Wednesdays we do identity group, which is kind of the same thing. It's what the whole school does. So we talk about different cultures, so we're going to read a book about who we are, all about ourselves, and we're going to talk about pronouns. So I'll talk more about that in next week's vlog. And then I planned for science, we're just doing body parts, same and different. All right, hello. I'm still wearing the same sweater as yesterday. Trust me, it's a different day. I just had it on the back of my chair and I got a little chilly. There are a lot of things that I did today and I kind of want to go through everything, and I want to set some stuff up for tomorrow. If you're not familiar with Made For Me Literacy, then like where have you been? But they have a freebie library now if you join their Facebook group. They post a ton of freebies on Airtable, and there's so many more units and things to come. So I needed a little extra stuff to do for later this week or next week. I haven't decided. It might be in next week's vlog if I just don't get to it. But it's like emotions, freebie little books, and some writing pages. Let me find the writing pages. Hold on. About ourselves, like being unique. They go with unit 1 of either one, Made For Me Literacy. And also, where are the other pages? Where are the Apple pages I printed? Maybe I didn't print the Apple pages. Maybe that's why. There's just more cut and write pages, so I just happened to print those out. For writing today, we're still working on writing letters. I found this really cool sort where you have to sort them either in greetings or closings. So we practice like what are common greetings, what are common closings. We also, hold on. We also practice like stuffing envelopes. I found envelopes in the office. They let me have some, like how simple, a writing class where you talk about letters and you just fold paper and put it in envelopes. I printed this book from Reading A to Z, like nothing fancy, about the post office and where letters go. They even wrote in the book, like real life. And then I found these hats. Mail carrier hats. So we practice writing letters for a couple minutes, like a greeting and the date, and then we spent a good chunk of time doing that. One thing is I did not realize I was getting observed. I forgot. And it's not a big deal in my school. People come in and out for like a lot of lessons. Like there's probably someone in my class each day. Not a formal observation, just my principal and everybody's really involved and they like to watch. There's always a physical therapist or a speech therapist or somebody in here, and you get really used to teaching in front of everybody. And for a lot of it, it's really good because if it's a speech person, like they want to make sure they incorporate what we do in class, which is great. But today it was like a real formal observation, and then we did the writing lesson, so it went pretty well, luckily. Regardless, It went well. I really love my supervisors. It's not like they're scary or bad people. I think I've always liked being observed, like even in college, I really wanted feedback. I love feedback. And so this school is really helpful for me because they give you feedback all the time. Positive, it's never bad. It's always good. Something else is that the second grade is about to start Dinosaurs Before Dark. If you've been here on my channel in the past, we read it last year. And so I printed off the booklet I made. It's also available on Teachers Pay Teachers if you want it. And then I talked about this yesterday, but the Sherlock Center from Rhode Island College has Dinosaurs Before Dark, adapted, simplified version of the book. So I printed that. So I'm going to bind this tomorrow probably along with those workbooks so that for Monday morning we're ready to go with our new reading unit. The last thing I want to show before I leave, I had talked about it the other day, but with the Foundations curriculum, you get this like magnet board so you can work through your letters. And I really had wanted, oh, I dropped one. I'd wanted to send them home with my students, but I don't want to send these letter boards because they're kind of expensive. And I think my like section of the curriculum only has 3 or 4. So I found one on Teachers Pay Teachers for like, I think it was $3. You remake it, you laminate it. So I have all the same pieces. It looks exactly the same. It's just Velcro. It's hard to see in this lighting, but there's 4 pieces of Velcro here because my students are only making words that big. And then these are the same kind of writing lines that Foundations uses. And so they're able to write the word as well. So I sent them home with this and some dry erase markers. So that's part of their homework each night, or their like extra work if they choose to do it. And the parents, one parent did text me and said it had been really great. They've been practicing every night. So thank goodness we'll get some readers soon. All right, this is again, so bright. Sorry, it's so bright in this room. I don't understand. Last thing is I'm going to trade out my new writing unit. Excuse me. So for about a week and a half, we've been doing people in the school. We read the social story and we would practice the words. Starting, I don't know if we'll get to it tomorrow on Friday because Friday's kind of busy. Just we have like different specials and an assembly and stuff. But next week we're starting school supplies. Okay, it's still September, like it's easy. So I cut out the pieces. We have the words, we have the larger pictures for the words, the sentence starters, and then the extra writing pages. And so I do have a picture book about school supplies, so we'll kind of review that. And then each day we'll practice them. And then if you're not in this part of the writing center, the other option is tracing on the iPad. And actually I'm going to add doing boom cards about school supplies and procedures in school. I have a few that were free, I think, on Boom. So I'll probably put those into the centers as well. All right. I'm out of focus. I'm tired. My camera's about to die. I just want to go home and relax. I don't have any plans tonight. This is big for me. So I want to do my laundry, cook dinner, go to sleep early. This week has kind of been draining, even though it's not even like long. It's just been draining for some weird reasons. It's only 20 minutes past my contract hours, so we're doing good. I'm gonna wrap up and I'm gonna go home. I'm just very excited about that.